Arthritis and food. Doctor, what do you advise? Is there any food I need to avoid? Are there types of food I need to be taking to help my joint to heal and to fight this pain? These are many questions we have received concerning food, and we decided to do this lecture to explain some things to you in terms of the kind of food you should do, you should take, and the kind of food you should avoid. You are welcome. My name is Dr. Ne, the medical director of the Richards Clinic. The question is, does food matter? Yes, food does matter. But before we go into that, I need to lay a foundation to help us understand the role food plays in our body. Arthritis is an oxidative destruction of the joint. Oxidation. What is oxidation? I want to use an example to explain that. Imagine I cut a fresh apple and put it on the table. At that point of cutting the fresh apple, the surface looks fresh and clean. That's what happens if you open a healthy joint that does not have any issue, does not have any arthritis. The joint is just like that apple, very fresh, glistening, and moist. But imagine I leave this apple for instance, on the dining table a day, 2, 3. You find out that the surface of that apple will begin to darken. At a point, the apple itself begins to shrink. So if this apple is left on the same table exposed to the air for a week or 2, the entire apple will shrink. That's exactly what happens when arthritis sets in the joint. The oxidative destruction, just as it happens in the apple, is what happens in the joint until the joint is completely destroyed. But this apple, imagine instead of leaving it on the dining table, I put it in a fridge that has the normal temperature to preserve the apple. The apple can be there for days, and when I bring it out, it will look very fresh. And that's what we mean by antioxidant. Okay? So what is keeping the apple fresh in the fridge is also what is keeping the body healthy, which means the fridge has kept the oxidative process in check and has balanced it, keeping the apple healthy for a long time. So in the body, it does not really mean that oxidation is a bad thing. Oxidation is good because it has its own benefits. It fights the germs and the pathogens and every other thing that is not needed in the body, or that could cause harm to the body. But the question is, when it becomes more, it causes problem. So the antioxidation process keeps the oxidative process in check, because oxidation produces what's called the free radicals. Free radicals are elements that, as their name goes, they are free and they are radical. They are radical in the sense that they are not really checked by anything. They are on their own. They can act on anything. They can destroy anything, whether good or bad. They are free to act on anything. So it's a question of their quantity, and what keeps their quantity in check is what's called antioxidants. When the antioxidants in the body keeps the free radicals in check, the body is in equilibrium, the body is healthy. There is the balance. But what happens when the free radicals are more than the antioxidants, or the antioxidants are not enough? You are not having it enough in your system. Therefore, the free radicals that are produced will not be causing harm. And the harm they cause are diseases like diabetes, hypertension, degenerative diseases like arthritis, and even cancer has been linked to excess free radicals in our body. And what causes or produces the free radicals? The free radicals come from, they are naturally produced in the body. As long as you are alive, you are eating, you are breathing in air, you are exposed to environmental elements, your body keeps on producing free radicals. Okay? So they come from food, the food that are high in sugar, food that are high in fat, which you need to avoid. It's the sugar we're talking about are especially refined sugar. They are not good. Excessive alcohol, cigarette smoking increases free radicals. Whether you're an active smoker or passive smoker, it increases the free radicals. The environment, radiation and pollution in our environment. they all increase free radicals. Your lifestyle, what kind of lifestyle are you living? Chronic stress, poor sleep, this affects your metabolic process, which also increases the free radicals. Now, to keep the free radicals in check, the source of your antioxidants also have to increase. And they are gotten from food that are rich in antioxidants, that are like fruits, vegetables, onions. We are going to still elaborate that in the subsequent slides. Then the lifestyle, the amount of sleep you need to be having adequate amount of sleep. Regular exercise, especially moderate exercise, non-vigorous exercise, and avoid late, heavy food. Okay? If you look at this slide is divided into two, the good and the bad. The good are the fruits that help to eliminate the free radicals, inflammation and free radicals, and they are the sources of antioxidants we are talking about. Some of us talk about alkalizing your body and all that you have heard that is good for your health. That is good. It helps to balance your pH, the acidity of your body, because many illnesses have been linked to acidity of the bile, acidity of the body, and that is also referring to the free radicals, which means the high free radicals. So when the antioxidants are also helping to alkalize your body, and they are gotten from food that are majorly plant-based food. So if you can look at this, all of them are majorly plant-based food. This side are mostly refined food that are packaged and delivered to you. We use our money to buy problem. Okay, so going to all these things which you can afford to buy, you have to be very careful, because they are refined food and they can cause you harm. Processed meats, hamburgers, name them, drinks, soft drinks, and all that. The amount of this food you take will determine the amount of free radicals, whether a free radical will overpower your antioxidants and tip you into having these illnesses we have mentioned. Okay? Now, there's a general concern that many of us are not taking enough fruits and healthy food we are talking about to encourage the level of your antioxidants. That's why Dr. Meyers produced what is called the Meyers cocktail, which is a treatment procedure through which enough and high dose of these vitamins are infused into your blood like a drip. The way we give drip, that's how they are introduced into your blood. Okay? And they are made up of many components of vitamins and minerals, and as you can see here, vitamins and minerals are majorly derived from plant-based food. So these are administered to help you to live a healthy life. We do that in our clinic, especially for those who have rheumatoid arthritis and those who have debilitating illnesses. In fact, it is also being used these days for people who are suffering from cancer, or they are going through cancer therapy, which is really very stressful to the body. So this Meyers cocktail helps people to recover even from arthritis and chronic joint pain. So in specifics, the source of your protein, let your source of your protein majorly be from fish, fresh water fish. Avoid red meat as much as possible. If you have to take meat, let it be majorly white meat like chicken, after you have removed the skin. Okay? Because this fresh water fish, they provide you omega H3, vitamins, and fish oil. Okay? So let this be major part of your menu. Don't joke with your nuts and your seed. Your nuts and your seed are very important source of vitamins and antioxidants. They are almond seeds. The seeds we have available they are very important source of your oatmeal. All these seeds, they are very important source of minerals and antioxidants. Your fruits and your veggies, the cabbages, the fruits we have available, the vegetables, try as much as possible to take these things fresh. As you have been told, when you are cooking vegetable, don't overcook them so that the minerals and vitamins will not be burnt off. Okay? Your cabbages, your lettuce, all the vegetables, your spinach, take as much vegetable as you can in your menu within the week, every week. Okay? Colored fruits, blueberries, cherries, pineapple, oranges, carrots, all these are very important sources of antioxidants, carotenes, flavonoids. Please don't joke with them. They are good for your health and they are good source of antioxidants. If you have to fry, if you have to use oil, please let it be majorly olive oil. Okay, it's healthier than other oils. Is a source of antioxidant as well. It's anti-inflammatory. As against vegetable oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil, this is known to increase inflammation and worsen your joint pain. Your beans, your soybean, black beans, very important source of fibers and vitamins and antioxidants. Let them form part of your menu. Okay, garlics and root vegetables like your onions, your garlic, your turmeric. All this should be part of your menu because they are very important sources of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. If you have to bake, please avoid white meat. Avoid white bread, white rice. Let your meal be whole grain. If you have to bake, let it be whole grain. These are healthier than flour that's already refined in the factory. Okay, there's also what we call the bone broths. When you take bones and cook them and drink, the broth, they are very good sources of gelatin, chondroitin, glucosamine, which are very, very important for the regeneration and healing of your ligaments and cartilage. Okay, dark chocolate. In fact, dark chocolate is very good even for your heart and your general body system. It's also a very huge source of antioxidants. But while you are taking them, take them with caution and with moderation because they also contain high level of sugar. Okay? All right. So I'm not going to end this lecture without talking about the importance of water. In fact, after A, water is the next important element in our body. Over 80% of your blood is water. Over 60% of your total body weight is water. As A, water is common, but we take for granted most things that are common. So you need to take adequate amount of water in a day. Even in your joint, the fluid in your joint, known as synovial fluid, is over 80% made up of water. So regular intake of water is good for your health and for your joint because it helps to wash off the free radicals. It helps in the blood circulation. Just as I said, over 80% of your blood is water. So it helps in circulation. It helps in the elimination of byproducts. Okay? Byproducts of metabolism in your body so that they will not accumulate in your body and begin to cause you problem. Females should take up to 12 cups of water in a day. Males should take up to 15 cups of water in a day. The question is, how much water do you take in a day? Thank you very much for listening. I'm very optimistic that you learned something today. Please share this lecture. Somebody else might learn from it so that we all will join hands together to help ourselves to live pain-free. See you again in our next lecture.